I always say don't leave your house without your phone. It could actually save your life. Well, in this case, it actually did. A smartphone managing to save a man from freezing to death on a Swiss mountain. Now, it was a British fitness influencer. He took to social media, obviously after he was safe, to explain how his iPhone allowed him to use 3G signal. Do you remember 3G back in the day? Well, it was used to call for help, even though his battery was super low. So they actually do work in a situation where you need them desperately. And that is what we're going to talk about. And also, there's a great piece of gear that Venktess has brought in for us, tech analyst, normally joining us on Zoom. And here you are in real life. You're not a hologram. You are actually How are you, Kyle? Good to have you, with us. So 3G is still a thing. And even on low battery, it actually still works, because my phone, when it says low battery, I get the warning it's on low battery and it's off.
Of course. So as you know, I mean, in a lot of areas that lack the coverage of, let's say, 5G or even 4G for that matter, most of the time your smartphone's going to switch to 3G. Now, being in an isolated situation such as the one you've just spoken about, understandably...
The Swiss Alps will do that to you.
Exactly. And, being in that kind of situation, you might not have the best of signals all the time. So even to have a 3G signal at that point in time is actually quite good. And then obviously you would have seen how he was able to use this to actually signal for help.
What happened? Do you know how he ended up in distress?
Well, apparently he had been skiing down a slope and then fell into a crevice and just landed in there and basically fell. I think it was almost 4 meters deep. And understandably, if you're in these kinds of conditions and you don't have help, what would actually happen? Yeah. And so luckily enough, he was able to signal for help using his iPhone. A very special feature called Emergency SOS. Okay. And you can activate this by accessing your settings options and then just going to the emergency settings there and then actually enabling the smartphone to activate the SOS call by pressing the power button 5 times.
Is that the one where you can then add a contact? It will automatically phone the contact on your phone that you've set. Is it that one?
You can set them up, but by default they will contact the local emergency authorities.
Okay, so how do you do that? Well, we're talking about iPhone here.
Yes.
How do you do that?
So basically you just access the settings menu. Yeah. You'll scroll down into accessibility.
Don't mind me while I quickly do it. Okay, let's see how good Kyle is. All right, and wait for it. Okay, so, and go.
Actually, I would go into settings and just go to the search option and search for emergency SOS to solve the problem.
Actually, I do have it activated. I forgot I do. Power button 5 times quickly on iPhone. I actually did have. I just wanted to test you very quickly. Oh, is that not available on Android? Is that actually very much an iPhone?
Fortunately, it is. It's the same sort of. You set it up in exactly the same way. Access your settings options and then go into accessibility and emergency SOS.
All right. So I mean, we're having a laugh about it. Obviously, the guy was okay that fell in, but it's a very serious note. If you've got one of these high-end phones, mine's a couple of years old now, but go and set that. You never know when you might need that. It's just 5 taps of the power button and you can get some help. So we're having a laugh, but it's actually very serious. Please, can I play with the new phone? Just take a look at this. Have I got a close-up on camera 4? Where's Keith? Here's Keith, one of our crack camera operators. Here's what I've got. Okay, let's take a look at this. And then, here we go. There we go. That's what I've got. And I've managed to break a cell phone. No, I haven't, because this is actually the new Huawei what?
This is the Huawei P50 Pocket.
And why do I want a foldable phone?
Well, this is the question around it. I mean, these are really convenient to keep in your pocket, for example, and hence the name. But I mean, just the futuristic appeal of something like this. But Gareth, if I can just refer you to the screen, because this is actually really important. We're seeing a lot of smartphone companies now bringing in foldable screens. And how this actually works is it's made of a malleable material called OLED. And why this is important is because...
There's a camera right for you, Carl, if you want to show everyone up there what it looks like. That's your camera up there. There we go.
Okay, so if you're looking at this display, and if you can actually see that it can be bent into shape. And that being said, this could be the future of how we see displays everywhere. For example, because this can be drawn and bent into shape, being the OLED material, we could see the possibility of displays such as these wrapping cars or even buildings for that matter.
Oh, I see.
So this is why this kind of technology really important.
So this started with the curved TV monitors, and now what we've ended up with is going, so how somebody somewhere, like a Kyle, went, well, guys, how far can we bend it? And this is where we are now. But does it work as a phone? I mean, when I'm just having images in my last question to you in a year's time, I'm going to tear it like a piece of paper. That's what I'm worried about.
Look, these phones have gone through so much testing, and I mean, there have been numerous companies that have been trying to put out phones with this kind of display and have failed, obviously. But now what we've seen is these screens, and the cell phone companies are probably learning from this. They've become a lot more durable than they were in the past. But given that they've just been released, it would be difficult to say how many years they may last.
So in 10 seconds, someone's due for a cell phone upgrade today. They walk into their store and they say, Kyle Venktess told me to buy this phone. Is that what you're recommending?
Well, I think you need to look at, your own priorities and what you need from your own smartphone. Do you need a phone that does this? Do you need to actually close it and take a selfie with the camera from the rear end, which is actually quite a nifty feature. Sure. And I mean, if you're big on smartphones, big on selfies, big on fashion, because this is a beautiful smartphone,
sure,
as you can see. Yeah. I mean, even this one, the P50 Pro as well, looking really good. I mean, if that's the kind of thing that appeals to you, then definitely.
All right, let me take a look at this quickly as I say goodbye to Kyle Venktess. I don't know, I just feel like I'm going to break this. I think it's a great piece of gear, but I feel like I'm going to break this. Looks like something you put in your handbag. Kyle, thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it. I promise I'll give your phone back to you in just a moment as well. Tech analyst Kyle Venktess coming in to join us. It's a great piece of gear. It really is. Not sure I'm sold on it, but maybe you get hold of Kyle on social media. Tell him what you think about that phone.